Pakistani actor Ali Zafar has drawn flak for his comments on Twitter. While this Pakistani artist was busy promoting his own movie online, there was no word of condemnation on the terror emanating from Pakistan. Meanwhile, political parties in Mumbai like the Shiv Sena and the MNS have slammed the actor, calling for a ban on stars from across the border, also claiming cultural ties with Pakistan cannot go on till terror does.
See, whenever we are opposed Pakistani artists, everybody, so-called intellectuals, have always said that we are not tolerant, we are very intolerant about them. And now what we feel basically, it is for the people to decide whether they want to watch Pakistani films or not. Because whenever we are opposed it, whenever we have said something, everybody is against us. So let people decide whether they want to watch this particular film or not, or whether they want Pakistani artists to be here or not.
All right, so we'll be discussing this issue yet again. Remember, the MNS and the Shiv Sena have time and again demanded a ban on all cultural exchanges with Pakistan. That includes Pakistani artists coming over to India, working in movies here in the music industry and earning money here. They say it's unethical and bit of also they say that it's hypocritical that on one hand we speak to Pakistan in one manner and accuse it of fomenting terror, on the other still have cultural exchanges with them. There are of course different variants of this position, and people there are people who say that this does not have anything to do with politics and you should keep culture and politics aside. Of course, we'll discuss that tonight with Commodore G.J. Singh, who joins us on the program right now. We'll also be joined by Dilip Cherian, founder of Perfect Relations Image Guru, and also Shaina NC will be joining us on the program. She's a spokesperson of the BJP. Commodore G.J. Singh, the debate is back today whether or not there should be a complete halt on cultural exchanges with Pakistan, artists coming in from there, as long as there is activity at the LOC, there is aggression at the border by Pakistan, and there of course is also the fomenting of terror against India. Do you believe that these parties, MNS, Shiv Sena, have a point here, or are they just looking for headlines?
You see, absolutely. I would say this country, the public, the government, the film industry has to decide first whether Pakistan is a friend or a foe. This is a fundamental question that I want to ask. Because if it is a foe, then we have to stop all kinds of exchanges, all kinds of cultural exchanges of artists, the ghazal singers, the actors, and the Aman Ki Asha Brigade and all that. Because our army jawans, the civilians are dying every day on the LOC. We have our jawans who are laying down their lives on the line of fire every day. We have, every now and then we hear of jawans, brave hearts being martyred. Now, for example, just about 2 days back, we had lost our 3 jawans. Their cultural, their what you call funeral ceremonies have not yet been over. The family are still in the state of mourning. And out here, now the film is being released with an actor who is from Pakistan, Mr. Ali Zafar. You tell me, does this kind of thing happen in any other country? Does it happen in the Western world?
So you're saying, sir, the families of those jawans who were martyred and mutilated on the border will be today wondering why exactly is India, in fact, doing this. But would that also excuse then Sartaj Aziz? And will the government give him a visa? Can the government speak in two voices here? On one hand, their allies, and you will also say that Ali Zafar should be banned and all other Pakistani artists should be banned till there is absolutely no export of terror from across the border. But why are we letting Sartaj Aziz, who's an establishment politician in Pakistan, why are we allowing him to come and visit India yet again, that too Amritsar, in the guise of a multi-country conference? Shouldn't the same yardstick be applied there? What will the martyrs and the families of those jawans think then?
Is that question to me?
Yes.
No, you see, yes. I would say here that Indian army is an integral part of one body, that is India. You see, we have to consider in our
All right, we seem to have lost General Commodore Singh's connection there. But Shaina NC joins us, as does Dilip Cherry. And let me ask you, Shaina, if we do give the argument of those families who have given sons really at the border and are in complete shock when people say there should be Aman Ki Asha, there should be Pakistani artists coming here, won't they say the same thing about Sartaj Aziz being allowed to come to India? Isn't that a bit of a double speak here?
First and foremost, I don't think that the government needs to have a position on Sartaj Aziz or what he thinks or where he goes. If he has been invited for a conference, that is yet to be confirmed. But the government stand is very clear that when we talk about isolation, it can't be selective, especially when it comes to Pakistani artists. One can't expect for India to be so conveniently lax in our thought process where we say that yes, you continue to export your terror and we will continue to import your talent. It's not going to be such. India has been giving a befitting reply to every action of Pakistan, whether it's the mutilation of one soldier, whether it's Uri Pathankot or Machil. I think it's important to understand that when we talk about a collective consciousness, the government stands in solidarity with the armed forces and the people of this country.
No, only on the issue of Pakistani artists, not on the issue of inviting Sartaj Aziz, who is the maker of Pakistani policy and quite likely in cahoots with the establishment generals and Pakistani politicians who export terror to India.
Pakistani artists. Atar, I am talking about terror per se. If it emanates and if it starts from Pakistan, you can't expect India to have a very all-welcoming approach. Do understand that the international world community also stands with India in solidarity because they know that Pakistan is in denial mode. Now, when you talk about talent, is it that India is short of talent? Clearly not. We don't need to have these stars from across the border come, earn name, fame, everything in India, and then when there is a terror attack, not even comment, or to comment once they go back to their country and under pressure. That is not the fundamental of a relationship which needs to coexist.
All right, all right.
And the day Pakistan realizes that it has been cornered on terrorism and not Kashmir, because Kashmir is not the bone of contention, then I think that if things come to normalcy, then we can think about.
For now you favor, Shaina, you favor a complete hard line as far as Pakistani talent coming into work in India right now is concerned. You back the Shiv Sena and MNS by saying there should be no cultural exchanges till terror stops. Dilip Cherian joins us, as do two callers. Before I go to the callers, Dilip Cherian, your take on this. This debate is back. The MNS Shiv Sena saying yet again, Ali Zafar tweeted, how dare he tweet, why can't he condemn terror from Pakistan, and why can't other people do the same? But we are inviting Sartaj Aziz and nobody seems to be talking about that. Manohar Parrikar has, of course, said that if he wants to attend a multi-country summit here, then India should give him a visa.
Tendency of India and our nation's thought has always been that strike the softer target. So the idea is to attack Pakistani talent, as China said, while trying to condemn Pakistani terror. I agree that if there is a line, it should be the same line. It should not be drawn in a kind of zigzaggy fashion. But having said that, I think that we also tend to recognize that we get into a situation where we are trapped because global pressures of various kinds work on the so-called establishment. And they recognize that they need to respond to some of those, because otherwise you are left in some senses isolated. I am no supporter of any of this kind of, open borders or open talks or anything of the kind. If that is your policy, stick to it. If you want to waver in your policy, the world gets the signal that you're simply unable to hold your line internally.
All right. So you think the government has held its line internally as far as this issue is concerned?
Is that to me?
Yes, Dilip.
I think the government has not held its line. I think that the line is more spoken about than actually implemented.
All right.
Let's see if we can do this. This time is a chance to prove that we are holding the line.
All right. So I think it's also up to the government really this time around to perhaps, as Shana said, the government shouldn't get involved in this. Perhaps this is the right time to make a line really as far as this issue is concerned and stick to it for once. We'll go across to Vaishnavi, my colleague in Mumbai, who has some guests with her. Vaishnavi, it's the 8th anniversary of 26/11, and the big issue, of course, is how India should be talking, if at all, to Pakistan. But the side issue seems to be Pakistani artists, cultural exchanges. Let's talk to the people that are with you and ask them, should we have one line regarding any exchange with Pakistan, or should we make exceptions for Sartaj Aziz, who's coming to Amritsar, and only target Pakistani artists and cultural ambassadors? I believe Vaishnavi is not through yet. Let's go across to our callers who are with us right now. I believe we have two callers calling in. Let's take a look who's calling. A. Rao from Kolkata. A. Rao Chaudhary from Kolkata. Hitesh from Coimbatore. Mr. Rao Chaudhary, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Very good evening.
Good evening.
In this context, I want to say that in this context, I want to reiterate that we don't need any Sartaj Aziz to welcome or set a rate carpet for him.
Okay.
Because Pakistan is totally in a perennial denial mode, and they have crossed all their cowardness, viciousness, and everything. But now, it's the government of the day, I must call for, without any political agenda, that they are reciprocating or distributing in a self-benefiting manner.
Okay, fair enough.
But another thing, these artists which are coming from Pakistan, I fully agree with Ms. Saina that we are not out of talent in India.
No, of course, nobody doubts that. Nobody doubts that.
Why should we welcome the Pakistan artists? Rating a rate part of
All right, fair enough. Thank you for calling. Hitesh from Coimbatore. Go ahead, Hitesh.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. I just regret to forget your name, but anyway, I think there should be a total ban on these artist participants doing programs in our country.
Right.
And they always keep shooting at people, killing them. And then that Pathankot, they had a merry ride and they saw everything and they didn't allow us to go to their country.
Did you feel that the government should stop doing that, inviting Pakistani officials this time around?
Very much. I think, in fact, even the consulate should be called back and we should not treat them with kid gloves and
okay.
Say hello every day.
All right. So you're saying no more nice guy. India should put down strict rules for any sort of exchange till terror stops. Vaishnavi is back with us with her guests in Mumbai. Vaishnavi, over to you. Let's talk to some of the guests you have with you on the issue really of whether or not they want all exchanges to be banned with Pakistan, be they cultural in nature or any other thing, or do you think there is some sort of flip-flop as far as the government is concerned, because Sartaj Aziz is all scheduled to come to Amritsar. Why not stop him? Why give him a visa?
Well, that's right, sir. I was speaking to you. I'm joined rather by the Consul General of Iceland. We were speaking to him, but there was a slight technical error, sir. If you can tell us as to, how do you think that India and Pakistan ties must go ahead? Do you think that we should cut ties? Because a lot of people, especially the victims of the family, are saying that, we should cut ties with Pakistan because it is enough and enough. What is your stand on it, and what do you really think should be done?
I think the families of victims are absolutely correct. I would only say that these terrorists have to be banned, and for which the government of Pakistan must do something, or otherwise the relationship between the two countries can never be normal. These acts of terrorism are happening far too often. Even on the border, they are doing all kinds of rubbish, and the government of Pakistan has to be absolutely and completely isolated by the various countries in the world, for which we need a joint effort by all the countries. That's what all the consul generals were here today. They all believe in that, and they all believe that Pakistan is a breeding place for terrorism.
Well, let me tell you, many council generals, in fact, are here at this spot. I'm right now at the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel at the Gateway of India, where there is a function happening. I'm also joined by one more lady who's saying that, that how do you really think that India-Pakistan ties should be? And also specifically, many political parties have been saying that, Pakistani artists must not be coming to India. But what is your stand? Do you support that?
Well, as an artist myself, I think art has no boundaries. Art is universal, and I don't think anybody should be banned. While I agree that there are certain types of relations which need to be mended on the level of the government, that is something that needs to be done at the governmental structure. But in terms of art, in terms of culture, we used to be one, right? And art is everywhere. I don't think that it should be banned from anywhere or any place.
Mixed reactions, of course, coming in. Ma'am, what do you think? Do you think that culture and politics must not be mixed, or do you think that some strong message really need to be sent to Pakistan?
Hi, I'm Sunita, and I performed earlier. It's not about what policies the government has taken to be friendly or unfriendly with the country. It's about how you're trying to be peaceful and work in harmony as a world together. So on that note, I definitely am supporting the bravery and the courage of our Honorable Prime Minister for being able to give be able to fight back and to show that we also have the strength to fight when needed, but we do not want to fight for no reason. When it comes to art, when it comes to art is universal, like my colleague said, and there can be no boundaries. The notes of Saregama Padhani are same in Pakistan and India, in US, in Australia, anywhere in the world. So someone is pursuing an art, you can't stop them, and we need to welcome them. However, I do not know, because I don't have the experience of how Indian artists are treated over there. I believe in equal partnerships and equal behavior. So if an Indian artists are happy performing in Pakistan and they're having no problems performing there, I don't think we should also be very welcoming to our Pakistani counterparts, and we have so many of them here. And if those who are already here entrenched into the art and culture of India, in Bollywood or in any other realm, I think uprooting them doesn't speak well of our philosophies of peace.
Well, that's right. Sir, if I come to you again, sir, you were saying that, of course, we need to send a very strong message. But do you welcome the move taken by the Prime Minister about when it comes to the surgical strikes? And also the fact that, the two ladies, the artists themselves, are saying that art and terror, politics must not be mixed. What is your stand?
I agree that art and terror must not be mixed. I agree with that. But I also agree that our government must give a resounding reply to Pakistan's terror tactics on the border. And therefore, I'm very much in favor of Prime Minister Modi's surgical attacks.
So Sartaj Aziz is also expected to come in December. The former foreign minister of Pakistan, Sartaj Aziz, is likely to come here. Do you think that we should go ahead with talks?
Talks can never be harmful, let's put it that way. If the talks are held in proper atmosphere of amicability, of friendship, of love and understanding, then the two countries can still resolve their differences. It's only an excuse that Pakistan has Pak-occupied Kashmir and all that. They're only excuses. If you were to go through the background and go through the history, they can come to an understanding and the wars can stop.
These are the reactions coming in, mixed of course, most of them saying that art and politics must not be mixed, but at the same time want the government to send across a very strong message to Pakistan. And many of them, of course, especially the people I have been talking to in the last few days, the victims or the survivors of 26/11,
right.
They have been pointing
All right,
out that
very quickly then, Vaishnavi, stay on with us. I have a couple of callers. I'll take those calls and I'll get closing arguments to what our guests in Mumbai have said from our studio panel. Stay with us. We have Kalpana Ravi from Mumbai calling in. Go ahead, Kalpana.
Hi, good evening, Athar, and good evening to your panelists.
Yes.
I seriously think that India should give a fitting reply to Pakistan. Enough of soft peddling and pussyfooting around Pakistan. And another thing I don't understand is when Pakistani actors are so loyal to their country and will never condemn their terrorism, why are our artists batting for these people? I think if we're going to say, if you can't condemn what your country is doing, then I don't think you are welcome over here. That's
all right,
what I have to
that's
say.
a very specific and clear point of view there from Kalpana Ravi. D. Ramachandran from Chennai, go ahead.
Hello, gentlemen. Good evening.
Yeah.
See, first thing I would like to emphasize on you,
See, we should not allow these Pak singers or their Pakistani players for cricket. Everything should be burned till they rectify their activities in the border. Every day they are doing massacre of our soldiers. Every day they are disturbing our day-to-day life. So our Prime Minister has gone extra mileage to solve the issue. Even without any schedule, he has gone to Pakistan and he has visited the Prime Minister of their country. But this the gentleman who is coming today, Sartaj Aziz of Mbadi,
yes,
he is the main brain behind the Prime Minister.
So why allow him, Mr. Ramachandran, and why speak in two voices? If you ban Pakistan artists, ban Sartaj Aziz.
He should not enter into this country. He should not enter into this country because you see every day he is taking heads off our soldiers. Our country should unite. That oppose of
okay, so you're saying all exchanges must be banned and only then will Pakistan come to senses. Let me just get a quick sense of the panel here to what both our callers on the phone and our guests in Mumbai have spoken. Starting with you, Dilip Cherian, you heard our Mumbai guests and there were artists who believe that art, culture should be away from politics and terror as well. How do you take that?
You know, I think what the artists are saying is typically how artists about cultural exchanges across the world. And I think that we respect it. There is, of course, a far greater level of jingoism in the country at the moment. Or we recognize who we are as a nation, the more secure we will be. I don't think this is us. I love the fact that people on the street, so-called, are echoing these voices of warmongering. But that's wonderful. If we are these voices of warmongering. But that's wonderful if we are able to sustain that in real policy.
All right, one more question before I ask China NC to come in here. And Dilip Cherian, do you believe really, as Defence Minister has made a statement today, it's a very telling statement, the opposition doesn't really buy it, but do you think this keeps cropping up the issue of Pakistani cultural exchange or artists coming in there as well? We saw this with a movie coming up, another movie has come forward and it's back in the news as well. Is this also then exploited by some for their own gains because it fits the larger narrative of jingoism as you called it?
I think this is all posturing. The fact is that as far as movies are concerned, they always get eyeballs and excitement and interest. So people find it worthwhile to start, tilting at these windmills, and I think these are just windmills. Because real policy is never made by some cultural exchange or some film actor. It's absolutely devoid of any of these inputs, and real policy is what we should be focusing on.
All right, China NC, closing comments before I go to Commodore Singh. China NC, you believe the government has taken a stand. Will it stick to the stand, really, of making Pakistan accountable and till then banning all cultural exchange?
I absolutely believe that the public sentiment of this country feels that if any of our soldiers are attacked by terrorists from Pakistan, we cannot have a normal dialogue. And if we talk about isolation, it has to be economic, political, social and cultural. It cannot be just in one area and not the other. As far as Pakistan is concerned, they continue to be in denial mode. And look at their stars. They come to India, they earn name, fame, money and all kinds of credibility here. And then they go back to their country and don't even have the basic courtesy to condemn terror, forget their own country that is sheltering and brewing this kind of homegrown terror. So I feel let down and I feel that there is no need. India is not short on talent.
Okay.
And I think that until times where Pakistan gets out of this denial mode, accepts the fundamental that they are harboring terror, we cannot have cultural ties exist with
China NC, I'm completely out of time here.
Especially when our agenda is clear, we are not here to discuss Kashmir is a non-negotiable. We are here to discuss only homegrown terror in Pakistan.
Okay, I think I can squeeze in 30 seconds for Commodore Singh before I wrap this up. 30 seconds to you, Commodore Singh.
You see, it is acting like, when your right hand is engaged in giving heavy retribution to Pakistan Army and to Pakistan in general, our left hand is engaged, in making friendship. It constitutes an act in reverse. Therefore, reducing the impact of what our army is doing at the border. Therefore,
All right,
I
okay.
think these people
you
who
feel
are
this can be
trying to tell
counterproductive?
that our art should not be mixed with this should be very clear. First, make themselves very clear whether Pakistan is a friend or a foe.
All right, fair enough.
Needs to,
Thank you for joining us,
be
Commodore G.J. Singh,
made
Dilip
absolutely
Cherian,
clear.
China NC. I think we got really a range of opinions here, not just from our panel guests, but also for people on the ground, artists, as well as political parties. The issue is back in news for very specific reasons. Thank you all of us. Thank you all of you for joining us. We'll take a